The date is May 5th, 1992. A small and rising game development studio named id Software, known for the Commander Keen series at the time, releases the first ever first-person shooter in existence, Wolfenstein 3D. Players assumed the role of American soldier William Joseph Blazkowicz, who successfully attempts to escape Castle Wolfenstein before killing the Führer himself, Adolf Hitler. The game featured a simple raycasting engine that enabled the MS-DOS computer to render seemingly three-dimensional environments with 2D graphical rendering, similar to games that were released late in the Super Nintendo Entertainment System's lifespan. The game received critical acclaim for its innovation on graphical rendering, and along with its accolades and sales numbers, gave birth to the shooter genre itself. A year later on, December 10th, 1993, id Software would go on to release their next shooter called Doom, which greatly popularized the genre and sold millions of copies worldwide. The game was such a success and so popular that it caused problems in office workplaces, reportedly for both occupying the time of a lot of employees and clogging bandwidth traffic on local internet networks. The game pushed the need for better hardware to run and set the pace for what would be called Doom clones, until these games would eventually fall under the genre shooter. 3 years later, in June 22nd, 1996, id Software raised the bar once again after a number of sequels for Doom by releasing a new shooter series called Quake that sported a tough single-player campaign and an overwhelmingly popular multiplayer suite that popularized the deathmatch. It became a sport of its own, or as we call them today, esports, with a finals tournament that would be held at a convention hosted by id Software dedicated to the series, a convention called QuakeCon, and the rest is history.
Enemy has the protection.
There aren't as many Doom clones on the shelves today that feature a quick pace and snappy combat, and these kinds of shooters have fallen under their own category now known as the Twitch shooter. It is called the Twitch shooter, or Twitcher subgenre, because players who do play these games are put to the test in both speed, reflexes, and accuracy. There is no mercy and no room for remorse.
Quad damage.
Twitchers have a few things in common: a quick pace that enables players to run at speeds that are barely legal in school zones, and guns. Lots of guns. Quite frankly, way too many guns, because everyone can somehow carry 6, sometimes 8 or more guns at any one time. The mechanics of these shooters are quite simple to wrap your head around, and they don't require a lot of learning for players to understand how things work. It might not be anything like Rainbow Six Siege, but even though Twitchers are simple to learn, they're very difficult to master. You'll find yourself jumping around, pulling off advanced moves like bunny hopping that somehow allow you to move faster than you ever would on your feet, and you'll be swapping between your large arsenal of weaponry quite frequently. In most of these kinds of shooters, reloading isn't even needed for all your weapons, meaning they all basically have a bottomless clip, so as long as you have the ammo, you can shoot it as much as you can. Unlike modern shooters, health doesn't regenerate, so you'll have to scour the corners of each level or each map to find health and armor to keep you in the fight. In multiplayer matches, it's best to bunny hop through paths where health pickups can be found. As matches play out, you'll notice that fights often go vertical very quickly and very often. Maps are multi-layered with stories bridging over each other, creating even more sightlines around the map for you to shoot through and for you to get shot in. In other words, you're not just looking left and right, it's up and down as well, and if you don't pick up on that soon, you're going to be catching hot lead to your balls more times than you'd like to. Oh god! Another thing that you'll pick up on is that most players in multiplayer matches tend to favour the rocket launcher for its high velocity explosive rocket and the fact that it's a powerful gun. Though if you can't find it on the map, or you're too bothered to compensate for its projectile fire lag, switch to a powerful hit scanning weapon like a lightning gun or a super shotgun. For player optimization, the thing you'll mostly need to focus on is your aiming sensitivity. In the sensitivity settings for your mouse, you'll want to set it a little higher than you normally would set it to for other shooters, since you'll be twitching your aim around the place picking off targets. Trust me, you'll want to do this so you'll have enough desk space for moving your mouse around. As for controllers, if you're using one, you might consider increasing your sensitivity by a few notches as well, and you'll definitely want to have your aim assist turned on if you can. Whether or not you use aim acceleration on console is up to you. This will help you flick your aim onto the next target and wipe them out so you don't get swarmed. Other than that, the same rules for any other shooter applies. Aim your crosshairs at the bad guys and shoot them dead until you're showering in the blood of your enemies. Literally. A quick tip for Twitch shooters that allow you to bunny hop. To bunny hop, you essentially keep jumping but in diagonally forward motions. So for example, as you jump, simultaneously push the W and A keys, and on the next jump push both the W and D keys. You want to switch between A and D as you fall from the peak height of your jump, essentially performing a serpentine maneuver while you're hopping around like a rabbit. Is that why they call it the bunny hop? Shut the fuck up, rookie, we don't have time for your bullshit. And that's pretty much all you need to know about Twitch shooters. Just remember that these are the general principles of the conventional norms around the subgenre. Not every game is the same after all, so be mindful that the rules and mechanics might be different in other shooters like Half-Life. Other than that, my time is up. I'll see you in the arena, Twitcher.